There are a lot of elite players in college football, but none have the story quite like Cameron Ward. At one point, Cam Ward had one FCS offer, and not a single program really thought he was good enough. In fact, that one FCS school that gave him an offer didn't even think he'd be good enough for their team, but they were just banking on his potential. Not only did Cam Ward prove them wrong, but he's proved all of college football wrong. He ended up winning the Jerry Rice Award for the best freshman in FCS football, put up insane numbers at Washington State for 2 years, and now is a Heisman front-running quarterback from Miami who is a legit shot to go in the top 10 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Cam Ward's story is crazy, and today we're going to talk about that. We're going to go through his backstory, how he went from one offer to a potential top 10 pick, and how good he has been so far with the Canes. But before we get started, if you're a big fan of college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you can support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I can cover next. Now let's get started and talk about the insane rise of Cameron Ward. So in order to understand how Ward got to this point, we first need to go back in time. His trainer JP Tillman said, quote, "It's unbelievable to watch a story like this. I'm just floored. For a kid to get his second chance at recruiting and to see it unfold like this is Cinderella-like." Each one of Cam Ward's stops during his journey has been incredible, whether it was his high school in West Columbia, Incarnate Word, Wazoo, or now Miami, it has all been pretty nuts. From an early age, Cam Ward was good on the football field. His dad said, quote, "Even when he was playing little pee-wee football, he was lining kids up and telling them where they had to be. He's always been a hard worker, and he's always had that determination to say, hey, I'm going to be the best." Cam Ward one day dreamed of going to the NFL, and luckily he would have someone to look up to, as Quandre Diggs, the Seattle Seahawks Pro Bowl safety, was actually his cousin. What's unique about Ward's story is at one point basketball was his preferred sport, until he got hit with the football bug during high school. On the gridiron, he averaged 23 points a game as a junior, and before that, he was averaging 19 points a game as a sophomore and 15 as a freshman. Ward probably had somewhat of a future in basketball, but he decided that football was going to be his sport. He said, quote, "I decided 2 weeks into the summer that I was going to pursue football as the sport I wanted to continue playing at the next level. It isn't that I don't like basketball anymore, but I have really enjoyed the exposure I've gotten in football, and to me that's one of the reasons why I switched." During the 2017 season, when he was a sophomore at Columbia High School, he made his first start under center. He had a ton of hard work to that point, and going into his senior year, he had made 12 official starts at the quarterback position, and Ward was really not on anybody's radar, at least not seriously. More than 15 Division I programs had inquired about Ward, but none ever pulled the trigger or all that serious. He ended up completing 72 of 124 passes for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns as a junior, and as a senior, Ward only averaged 12 passing attempts per game due to Columbia playing in the wing T style of offense, which is not good for a passing quarterback trying to make it to college. He was mostly handing the ball off, pitching it, and carrying out fakes, and while he had good measurables, like being 6'2", 230 pounds, or a powerful arm, you'd only get to see it if the Roughnecks fell behind. So yeah, basically Cam Ward only handed the ball off, and his team was so good that he never got to show his skills. Arm talent alone doesn't get you noticed in a state as big as Texas, and Ward's limited tape did not help him out. His father emailed and phoned many schools to try to generate interest, but nobody really ever vouched for Cameron, and he could not find any takers. Incarnate Word's head coach said that he saw Cam Ward's high school tape, and he showed no signs of being able to process an up-tempo, complex offense. That was a red flag. The Wards would hit many camps during that summer of 2019, and Texas A&M was actually interested in offering him, but they would land Haynes King a few weeks later, so they decided to offer Ward a walk-on spot because they did not think he could handle Jimbo Fisher's offense. Ward's last camp of the summer was Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word's quarterback coach did not think his tape was flashy, but he had one throw on a post route that got his attention. He had good balance, a fluid motion, and it was a good throw, and he wanted to see more. At the FCS level, low-paid coaches make decent money off summer camps, and that comes from inviting pretty much every kid on their board, even those who they don't even want. Ward showed up, absolutely ripped the football, wowed the staff, and they started to build a relationship. But despite him being able to move and extend plays, they did not offer him, and Ward would continue under the radar. Morris ended up taking over as Incarnate Word's head coach in 2018 after 5 years being an offensive coordinator at Texas Tech under Cliff Kingsbury. Morris had his own take on the air raid and decided to extend Cam Ward an offer. They pitched Ward on playing on an offense that could throw the ball 50 times a game, and obviously Cam liked hearing that. 1 week before signing day, he took his official visit to Incarnate Word, and the family met with Morris at the end of the visit, and he asked if anyone else had anything to say. Cameron said, quote, "Yeah, I'm committing." He said it was a pretty easy choice because it was either that or JUCO, and then he said I took a chance on them and they took a chance on me, and I'd say it worked out pretty good. At the time, Ward was listed as a 0-star recruit and would head to Incarnate Word trying to prove the world wrong. So how'd he end up doing? But first, let's hear a word from today's sponsor, MyBookie. Convicted as I am about a certain bet, be sure to place your bet with MyBookie. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like a weekly risk-free boost on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Square contests. Get your entries now in for your shot at huge cash rewards. When you're ready to get started, be sure to use my promo code Fisher50 and make sure to get some extra cash on top of your first deposit. If you type in Fisher50, you'll get up to $1,000 in a welcome bonus bet plus a $10 casino chip. MyBookie's tiered bonuses make it easy to deposit with crypto or with credit, and the bigger your deposit, the bigger your bonus. The bonus would be 100% match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. With MyBookie, you can bet on anything, anywhere, at any time, and make your season a winning season. Be sure to check out my link down below and use my promo code Fisher50. Cameron went over to Incarnate Word with the full intention of winning the starting job. His dad said, quote, "I'm like Cameron, that's good and all and I like the confidence, but the dude you're trying to beat out is an All-American." He was like, "Dad, I'm telling you, I'm going to beat him out." Incarnate Word's 2020 fall season was canceled due to the pandemic, and this was disappointing but was very beneficial to Ward's development. He had 4 more months to learn and catch up as they would now play in the spring, and he got to learn all the air raid basics. The team played in the spring and Ward got a shot. He needed 1 month to understand the offense, and by December, he had taken over for John Copeland as the #1 quarterback, and Ward would end up throwing for 2,200 yards with 24 touchdowns in just 6 games, averaging 50 passes per game, and winning the Jerry Rice Award as the top freshman in the FCS. And after that, Ward would do even better. He would end up helping them go 10-3 while staying undefeated at their home stadium. Incarnate Word was the Southland Conference champions. They made it to the second round of the NCAA FCS playoffs, and Ward had over 4,000 yards. He said, quote, "This season has been unbelievable. From the highest FCS ranking in program history to the most wins in program history, conference champions, winning the first playoff game, and much more. It's been great to be a part of something so special." Then, out of nowhere, his head coach who recruited him and gave him a shot decided to leave for Washington State. 5 days later, Cameron Ward would end up entering the portal, and there were tons of different people who wanted him. He ended up inevitably committing to Washington State to follow offensive coordinator Eric Morris, and Ward said in that time period he faced a lot of uncertainty. He felt he should follow the coach that recruited him and provided him his only offer, but he also really liked Incarnate Word. Ultimately, they won out because of that coach, the chance to play at the Power 5 level, and that system was really good for his skill set. As I said, he ended up having 6,900 yards and 71 passing touchdowns in his 2 years at Incarnate Word and set pretty much every record imaginable. He was thankful that Incarnate Word took a chance on him, but eventually he was ranked as the number 11 overall transfer at one point and was going under the radar as one of the new top quarterbacks in college football in 2022. He said ultimately it was between Washington State and Ole Miss, but Washington State had that edge for multiple reasons. Lane Kiffin saw his tape and said there was nothing wrong with him, but Washington State would end up getting him, and he had a really good 2-year career there as well. In his first year as a starter in 2022, Ward would throw for 3,200 yards with 23 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, while completing 65% of his passes. In 2023, Ward ended up getting even better, as he was in the top 10 in pretty much everything statistically, as he finished with 3,700 yards with 25 touchdowns and 7 picks. One thing that was a problem for Ward over the years, though, was fumbles, as he did struggle to take care of the football a little bit. Washington State also started out strong in 2023, but completely collapsed by the end of the season, and Ward was now probably going to head off to the NFL. He had started 44 games and had nearly 14,000 passing yards and 119 touchdowns. But he was given feedback that he was at best a day 2 selection, so he pulled out of the draft and ended up going back into the portal. He said, quote, "At the end of the day, I think I'm a day 1 quarterback. I think coming back to college can solidify myself." Ward was torn between choosing Miami or the NFL, but a few hours after his decision to declare for the draft, DJ Uiagalelei went to Florida State, and Ohio State ended up getting Will Howard. Those were 2 schools that really wanted him. While the Canes did get a transfer from Albany, Cam Ward would eventually decide to commit to Miami. The Hurricanes have only had one 10-win season since they joined the ACC in 2004, and have only had one quarterback drafted since Ken Dorsey led the program to a national title in 2001. Ward immediately became the best quarterback in the ACC, was given preseason awards, and was given low-key Heisman hype. So far in 2024, Ward has been absolutely magical. Through the first 2/3 of the season, Ward has thrown for 2,700 yards with 24 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions, and he's completed 68% of his passes. The best moment came when they were trailing against Cal. They were down 25 points to the Golden Bears, but they ended up rallying and won the game 39-38, and another epic Heisman Trophy worthy performance. While there definitely is some sketchiness with some of the officiating going on in some of these games, Ward has still led Miami to an undefeated record so far, and right now, in my opinion, he should win the Heisman over Dillon Gabriel, but it's sort of a coin flip between those two, and then guys like Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty as well. After the comeback against Cal, head coach Mario Cristobal said, quote, "You can't let a guy make that many plays and have that much self-confidence, and the moment it doesn't go your way, start getting nervous and pull the plug on the whole thing." He obviously had faith in Cam Ward, and so far it has totally paid off, and the huge NIL paycheck they gave him was definitely worth it. Miami is on track to have one of their best seasons in a long time, win the ACC, and go to the playoff, and Cam Ward has been right at the front of that. He's now topped 15,000 passing yards in his career, making him the 13th player to ever reach that milestone. The only other active player who can say that is Oregon's Dillon Gabriel, and these two do seem to be battling it out for the Heisman right now, with Jeanty and Hunter. Ward has had an incredible story. He went from a guy who had one FCS offer to winning the Jerry Rice Award to tearing it up at Washington State, and now will likely be a top 10 to first round draft pick after his time at Miami. Who knows, he could also maybe win the Heisman and maybe help Miami even win a national championship. We'll just have to wait and see, but Cam Ward's story is great, and I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did though, be sure to give it a like, let me know your thoughts down below, let me know what player I should cover next, and also don't forget to check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my video about the insane rise of Ashton Jeanty. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.